Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Monday, everyone. Hope you all had a good weekend. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. This is our daily updates here about what happened in our VW Restoration shop. So why don't we get started? I will come back to this. Let me actually go outside first where the barn door is sitting at the moment and talk about what happened on it. All right, there she is. So as you can see, the muffler, the bumper, all that stuff's back on. And so that was actually, that was a pretty big part of Rafa's day, because on these things, sometimes the splash pans, which are these metal pans you can see here, are black. They just don't line up that well. And, different people have probably worked on this bus over the years, and holes get moved around and all kinds of wonky stuff. So, but not a problem for us, just takes time. So I believe Rafa had to actually modify one of the splash pans as far as like where the little bracket was on it. And I think he had to put a new hole in the body. You can see we're gonna have to do some touch-up paint right there. So yeah, it's not one of those things that just bolts on, easily. Almost never do those go on super cooperatively, and this was no exception. But it's on now, looks great. It's straight and level and all that good stuff. So why don't we pop the deck lid here for a second. I never get tired of looking at this motor, guys. I'm sorry, but I really don't. Anyway, so yeah, motor, well, the motor was in already, but now it's got its exhaust back on it, apron's back on, everything else. While he was in there, he also put on the metal heater tubes, the ones that go from the heater boxes to the, I don't know, I always call them mufflers, baffles maybe, that lead to the body. So that's all on now. And one thing was, when the exhaust was going back on, these are original 36 horse heads. This is not Ocrasa heads or anything like that. When he was tightening the exhaust up, the upper exhaust stud on that side on cylinder 2 actually started pulling out of the head. Eek! Not a good feeling, guys. And so basically we got a step stud that takes it up to the next size, drill and tap the head, put in the step stud, and on our way. So yeah, just one of those things. Again, these parts are all super old, and stuff like that happens sometimes. So I guess it was okay when we put it together before, but just the stress on the stud from uninstalling the muffler and reinstalling it, the threads just started to let go. So not a big deal. It'll be good for pretty much the rest of eternity now with that step stud on there. Bigger threads on the cylinder head side, and then the usual size that goes through the exhaust and gets the nut to hold the exhaust on. So anyway, it's always something like that, guys, little unanticipated things that you have to do. But the exhaust is back on now and looks pretty amazing. So that was that. Let's see, I think those were kind of the main things that Rafa did on this one today. We've got a few, well, actually, no, I take it back. There was another major-ish thing that happened today, and that was we bought a very nice original Bosch 6-volt horn and installed it. This came from Anthony Weiner, who I think him and his brother called himself the VW guys or something like that. I don't know. Those of you in VW, especially vintage part and accessory circles, probably know these guys. Anyway, so yeah, we got that horn for it and a bracket, which you can barely see down in there. See it all chrome and shiny, and it's actually this one's brother. So previously I had bought this fog light and that bracket from those same guys, and then we finally bit the bullet, and they were not cheap, but we bought this horn and bracket, matching bracket for that, and Rafa had to make like a little adapter bracket essentially to mount it up in there. But yeah, so that's on now. Not quite wired yet. We're trying to find some special wire for it, and but yeah, so kind of balances out the front of the bus. And again, combis, of course, were, like industrial buses, or, made for companies, was kind of the intention with them, with their, relatively stripped down of upholstery and trim and stuff like that. So the horn on the bumper like that really suits this bus well, again, being a combi, and balances the fog light out nicely. So there you guys go. So that was most of what happened on this bad boy today. Why don't we talk about this one for a minute here? And so I think I mentioned before that this bus did not have belly pans on it. And so I went out today to Grumpy's Metal and purchased left and right belly pans. Actually, I should rephrase that. It had the center belly pan, but it didn't have the two side ones. So I went out and picked those up today from Grumpy's Metal out in Huntington Beach, and Rene started preparing those, and he actually painted them. Again, we have matching paint for this bus, so he did that, got them painted and prepped, and so those will get welded on tomorrow, and then he'll just come back and touch up the paint where he welds them on. So yeah, kind of a big thing for this one, getting the belly pans. Again, these buses, Deluxes, had a huge hole in the roof. So it's kind of like with a convertible Beetle, where they've got those extra rails on the side that stiffen it up to make up for the lack of a roof. Kind of the same thing with belly pans on a sunroof bus. So the idea being to kind of stiffen up the chassis and make up for the fact that there's essentially like a giant hole in the roof that's, kind of diminishing the overall structural integrity of the bus. So yeah, super important. So on a convertible here, you can see these rails, see this, where's my finger? See this long straight bit right there that's normally not hanging down on a hardtop Beetle. So those are the reinforcement rails. So super important, and again, very analogous to the belly pans on a sunroof bus. So yeah, those are going on, and let's see what else. So it's outside, and there's not really much to show, but I did also pick up from Old Speed the new brake lines or brake hoses rather, for the front of the 64 double cab bus. And I think I showed you guys on Friday what I found here. So this was this was the passenger side brake hose on there, and you can see how hard of a kink this thing had in it. It was just a matter of time, guys, before the brake hose inside of this sleeve failed and he would lose his front brakes. And in the meantime, with that kink that hard, I can't imagine that brake wheel cylinder or caliper rather was getting full brake pressure, again, with that kink in there. So just all around a bad thing. So luckily, Old Speed to the rescue. They had the new lines, and actually the lines they had were better than what was on here, because the lines that were on here had an AN fitting on both sides, and then on the side that goes toward the body, they had an adapter which adapted it to a bubble flare hardline that comes out of the essentially like the frame rail there on the bus. So the ones that I got from Old Speed actually have the correct fitting on that end, so no adapter. So it's just like one less place that can leak. So yeah, those are on. We bled the brakes, and they feel even way better than they did before. The pedal has a little bit of, kind of normal free play in it, and then it's like a brick wall, guys. That pedal is so hard now when you step on it. I did take the bus for a drive around the block, and holy smokes, those brakes work good. Before, when I drove that bus, again, I'm talking about the white 64 double cab, the brakes were not really that impressive, despite the fact that it has huge Willwood brakes up front and disc brakes in back. I wasn't really that impressed. But honestly, now that we've gone through and bled the system and replaced those front lines, or hoses rather, it feels pretty amazing, guys. So very happy with that. I believe the owner is picking that double cab up in the morning, so I guess we will have seen the last of that one here until if he brings it back for us to do more. But in the meantime, glad to get that back to him to start enjoying and be much safer and have better shifting and all that good stuff in the meantime. All right, guys, so let's talk about this one for a minute. So the longtime followers of the channel probably remember this car. We had it in the shop at some point last year, and I don't even remember what it came in for. I think it just wasn't running very good or something, and we did a few things on it. The car wasn't here for long, maybe like a couple days if I recall correctly. Anyway, it came back because she was driving it, and this was a while ago. The car's actually been sitting for maybe, I don't know, 4 to 6 months or something like that. The car, last time she was driving it, she was on the freeway, and the car started losing power, and she smelled a strong gas smell, and she got off to the side of the road safely and got it towed home. And then she's been very busy and just had a lot going on in life, as happens, and so the car just kind of sat. And so finally, she's hoping to start driving the car again. And in fact, this weekend in the beautiful city of Orange is the Old Town Orange Antique Car Show, which is amazing. If you guys are local to Orange County, you should check out the Orange Plaza Antique Car Show again this weekend. You can Google it and find it, I'm sure. Anyway, she's hoping to show her car. She's all registered and stuff. And so she's like, well, I guess I'd better get it running then. Anyway, so received the car. It had a dead battery, not surprisingly, after sitting for that long. So kind of just started charging the battery because it was like totally flat. I wouldn't turn the car over or anything. So went ahead and hooked the battery up to the charger. And then while that was happening, I pulled the back wheel, pulled the front wheel, and checked the fuel line underneath there and from the tank underneath there, looking, kind of expecting to find like maybe a fuel line that had come off or whatever. I checked the engine compartment and didn't really see anything. All the lines and so on looked fine. So I just decided, let me try and start it and see what happens. And so I primed the carburetor a few times and tried to start it. And it would kind of run for a few seconds like they do when you prime them, and then, die pretty quickly. And then I too smelled the gas smell. And check this out, guys. I don't think I've seen this before. What happened was that somehow the drain plug on her carburetor for the float bowl, which you can kind of see right there by my finger, the drain plug was just gone. Guys, I guess it had like backed out of the carburetor or something. And so basically the fuel pump was just pumping gas into the carburetor, into the float bowl, and in turn it was just like dumping out. And so you can actually see a spot on the floor where I guess when I was trying to start it, so right there, I guess when I was trying to start it, that same thing was happening, and that's when I smelled the gas smell. So luckily dug through our pile of carburetors and found one that had that plug on it, and installed it with a new crush gasket. And yeah, pretty much primed the carburetor a few more times, and the thing fired right up and seems to run fine. Her battery, after charging it for like an hour and a half or so, was still a bit low, but it was super low to start with. So I'm not 100% sure that her battery is still good. I may run it to an auto parts store in the morning, let them check it out. But other than that, I think she's probably good to go. I do also want to take the car on a road test and make sure that it's running good and smooth and so on, because as long as it sat and essentially with like a more or less empty carburetor, I'm not sure that the carburetor doesn't need to be pulled apart and gone through. But it's probably in a way a good thing that the carburetor was empty all that time that it sat, because it pretty much, sucked the carburetor dry when the thing stalled. So it probably was okay, and it idles and stuff fine once I got it started. So I think it's okay, but I do want to take it for a drive, make sure that it's running smooth and stuff for her, and then maybe replace the battery. I'll get it checked out, see if it's got a dead cell or anything. But other than that, yeah, this car should be gone tomorrow. So be glad to get it back for her in time for the car show. So This one, guys, I ordered the motor today. I'm getting a long block from Brothers Machine Shop, and it's going to be a 21, gosh, guys, if I can remember, like a 2161 or something like that. It's basically a 90.5 piston and cylinder and an 84 millimeter crank. So usually people build like 2180s, which is a 90.5 cylinder and an 82 millimeter crank, but Brothers really recommends just stepping all the way up to the 84, and you get a few more cc's and a bit more torque that way. So that's what we're building. Got the motor on order for this finally, and I think they said it's going to be done later this week, so that's really fast, guys. So I need to get my butt in gear here and start getting the engine tin and stuff ready for this. And again, we've got the transmission built for this already, and the seats are all done. I need to order some interior panels and some other things, but yeah, this bus should go together pretty fast once we get the motor. And so yeah, some progress on this one finally. Feel bad, it's kind of probably seeming a little bit neglected here for a while, but I'm back on it. Motor's coming in hopefully later this week, and then yeah, it's gonna start coming together, guys. This one, not much except to say that I did order all the stuff for the front stock disc brakes today. And tomorrow I'm going to place a Wolfsburg West order for everything I need for the back brakes and stuff like that. So I'm going to start making some progress on this one again sometime soon. The 68 Ghia, formerly known as the Crusty Carmen, which now is super beautiful. And you can't tell it was ever crusty, except it's dirty right now. Guys, I think that is it for today. So thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.